your real case in point of why you're on the Midas list, of course, is Stemcentrx, sold to AbbVie, $10 billion. You went all in this particular company. What do you think about M&A at the moment, and indeed the healthcare sector in general, valuation-wise? Because we're seeing a third less M&A, we're seeing far less ETF trading when it comes to healthcare because of what the Trump administration means. Are you still bullish on the healthcare sector and biotech?
So I'm bullish on individual companies. As I was pointing out, it's all about the specific company. So in Stemcentrx's case, regardless of what's going on in the biotech sector, that was going to be a special company. And we recognized that that was a special company, and therefore we went all in. When it comes to M&A or going public, that was definitely a strategic conversation we had at the board levels at Stemcentrx when AbbVie came around, and we think we got, you know, a great outcome there. But it was definitely a conversation of whether to go public or get acquired.
What, with that sort of example and others, does it tend to be, is it that you can see the synergies so clearly, a bigger player teaming up with them would mean that their drugs that help against cancer would just get to market that much faster? Sure.
There's always advantages and disadvantages of each. I mean, AbbVie obviously has a fantastic distribution platform that's very powerful if you want to get these drugs into the hands of people that really need them. There's also advantages of staying independent, and we determined that at that time it was the right move to sell to AbbVie.
Looking at Oscar Healthcare is a fascinating one, not only because of what they're actually doing in terms of humanizing healthcare, making sure that also it's a cheaper way of insurance, which is so much in the prominence of the news, but also by who it's led by, co-founder, of course, brother to Jared Kushner. He's called Josh Kushner. How much are you looking at Oscar's health of itself at the moment? Because there's been worries about it losses.
Yeah, so we are extremely bullish on Oscar right now. Oscar is charged with fundamentally fixing the health insurance industry, and therefore the state of health in America through transparency. Like, you probably have little to no or negative relationship with your health insurer right now. Oscar is trying to change that. It's also trying to make use of narrow networks so we can save costs in the healthcare system throughout. And this is regardless of what the political landscape looks like. At the Oscar board level, all we're concerned about is how do we more effectively get health care for our members, and we have to adapt no matter what the politics look like.
So does the regulatory environment change your views of investment at any point?
No, I think it may change tactics of the company, but it doesn't change the strategy, which is the fortunate thing. The fortunate thing is we're building a company that has a fantastic relationship with its members so that we can provide them the best health care possible. Obviously, the regulatory environment will change tactics of the company that we have to use, but it doesn't change the strategy.
So how would Oscar's Health, for example's tactics change?
I mean, if they made it possible to sell health insurance across state lines, we would adapt to that. There's all sorts of things that you have to, it impacts whether we go into different states, whether we try to go for different verticals in the health insurance space. Those things are all taken into account with the policy, but it does not change the long-term strategy of the company.
What about the environment in which we live, not only political and regulatory, but also the pace of change? I'm fascinated every single day by the talk of disruption, about the talk of a universal basic income, the need to help those that are about to potentially lose their jobs, robotics, automation. Are you a technology optimist or pessimist when it comes to this sort of?
Well, I can tell you that I am a world optimist, because I don't think it pays to be a world pessimist. And so I'm an optimist on the world, and I'm an optimist on humans' ability to adapt to any situation. Whether or not we go to a universal basic income or whether it's something else, we're going to adapt both as a society and human beings. For instance, I'm extremely bullish on one of our portfolio companies, Airbnb. It's currently involved with homes, but it has a nascent experience platform that I'm extremely bullish on when it comes to economy 2.0. I mean, the Airbnb experience platform can give people a way to monetize their skills, whatever that may be, in a way that we've never seen before in humanity. So I'm very excited about that over the next decade.
You say that we will adapt as humans, but is it ever the responsibility of technology to help with that adaptation, or is it always a regulatory, political responsibility?
I think we always try and help with that from a technology perspective, but you're not going to be able to artificially stop it. So you have to work with it and adapt with it, and have technology do things that are very helpful for society, but you know, humanity has to adapt along with it, and that's what we're doing.
Of course, you've got a lot of PR, dare I say, a lot of eyes on you because of your reputation and the investments you've made, the exits that you've delivered for Founders Fund. How do you feel startups are looking at you at the moment? Because there was some negative reaction to Peter Thiel's, shall we say, controversial and sometimes unconventional viewpoints. Has that changed in any way how many startups you're able to get in front of you and really how attractive you are as a VC?
Yeah, you know, we're a collection of all individuals. You know, we don't often agree with each other, let alone the rest of Silicon Valley. But we always offer a contrarian viewpoint, and some of the most experienced founders love that. A lot of experienced founders don't just want to be agreed with, they want to be challenged. And we welcome entrepreneurs who want to experience all sorts of different viewpoints and be challenged while maintaining the control that at the end of the day, it's the entrepreneur's decision. You know, if they want to be challenged, they should come talk with us.
Last question for you, geographical in nature.
Yeah.
Who's knocking on your door? Is it purely Silicon Valley, US-based startups? Where are you starting to see some of the excitement coming from? Because I'm a Brit, I'm sat here, is this the only hub I should care about, or what about some of the rest of the world?
To be honest, we are seeing, especially at the early stages, we are seeing this come from all over the world at this point, which is very exciting. I actually think it makes a ton of sense to start a company elsewhere. People still may need to come to Silicon Valley to scale. We are fortunate to have a lot of the top tier talent in the world in Silicon Valley, but where you start the company is completely independent. We're seeing some fascinating stuff coming out of Europe right now, coming out of everywhere.